and it'll soon become clear. Number 14. James Martin. The release of the movie Phone Booth in 2003 propelled Colin Farrell into international stardom. But for James Martin, a former waiter from London, it opened up a whole new avenue of work as an impersonator. His looks are so similar to Farrell's that he's often mistaken in the street for him and is asked for autographs and selfies. He even famously ran up a $6,000 bar tab in 2014 when the club's management thought he was the Hollywood star. In recent years, though, Martin has struggled to find look-alike work, something he says reflects the real Farrell's difficulty in landing a leading role. He's now trying to branch out and become an actor in his own right, although it's proving difficult because of their obvious similarities. Number 13. Heidi Agan. Becoming a princess is the dream of girls around the world, but very few people actually become one. Kate Middleton became one of the lucky few when she married Prince William, but this also had a life-changing effect for Heidi Agan, who looks just like her. She's regularly booked for appearances, and it became such an important source of income for her that she made sure she became pregnant at the same time as the real Kate, so her act would remain authentic. She's been flown around the world to appear on shows like Good Morning America and plans to keep on going until the public appetite falls, something that's unlikely to happen because her doppelganger will one day become queen. Number 12. Claudia Sierra. For a variety of reasons, Claudia Sierra from Houston, Texas was severely lacking confidence about the way she looked, and when she realized that her appearance was slightly similar to someone in the public eye, she chose to have plastic surgery to become as close to her new idol as possible. After spending $50,000 on procedures including a breast augmentation, a tummy tuck, and a butt lift, she was very happy with the results and looks almost indistinguishable from the First Lady of the US, Melania Trump. She's now mistaken for her on a daily basis, feels far more confident about herself, and the transformation has completely changed her life. Number 11. Andy Monk. Like him or loathe him, there's no denying that Simon Cowell has become extremely successful at what he does. And it's no surprise that there's someone who's making his own small fortune by impersonating the British music mogul. Andy Monk has performed on some of the most popular TV shows in Cowell's home country, and is so convincing that he's appeared as his double in photo shoots and productions where the real Cowell isn't available. This has been his full-time job for more than a decade, and he's now opened his own lookalike agency that provides doppelgangers of many of the UK's top stars. Thankfully, his personality is very different from the man he impersonates. After all, there's only room for one of them in the world. Number 10. Valeria Lukianova. At first, when you see images of Valeria Lukianova, you'll probably think you're actually looking at pictures of a Barbie doll. But this isn't a plastic toy. This is actually what she looks like. The Ukrainian model has had an obsession with Barbie since a young age and has spent her modeling career learning how to perfect this unusual look. Surprisingly, she says that it's all been possible without any plastic surgery at all, and that the effect instead is created by using makeup. Her makeup-free selfies show that she's telling the truth about this, and the fact that most of her images have been taken in the gym show how committed she is to maintain the physique required for her career. Number 9. Francesca Brown. Francesca Brown has become somewhat of a star online, thanks to her selfies, and it's all because she looks strikingly similar to one of the most famous pop stars on the planet, Katy Perry. If you look at the photos of the two of them next to each other, it's virtually impossible to tell them apart, and even Perry herself has commented on how similar they appear. The funny thing is that Brown from London had never heard of Katy Perry when she was first told that she looked like her when she was queuing to enter a nightclub in Las Vegas in 2008. A security guard came over and took her straight into the club, and after all the attention she received that night, she soon took on a full-time job as an impersonator. She says she often doesn't see the similarity herself, but if other people do, then that's good enough for her. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. Number 8. Sandra Wood. There's no doubt that Cher is one of the most successful and influential music stars on the planet, and thanks to her, Sandra Wood has become one of the most successful Cher impersonators on the planet. Sometimes it's impossible to tell the two apart, and other times Wood actually looks more like Cher than Cher does. She's been performing as a look-alike for more than 20 years, and has taken to the stage at venues across the US and around the rest of the world. She sings herself and even writes and starred in the 75th annual Farewell Tour, which was a parody of Cher's own farewell tour. Audience members often believe she's the real deal, and you've probably been fooled too. Wood has appeared in countless commercials, including ones from IBM, Dr. Pepper, and Coca-Cola, where she stands in for Cher when the star isn't able to attend herself. Number 7. Brittany Williams. Brittany Williams from Detroit, Michigan, has been chased down the streets by fans, shouted at from office windows, and allowed to skip queues to her favorite bars and clubs, all because the people have mistakenly thought that she was in fact Beyoncé. The likeness is clear to see, but unlike many other lookalikes, Brittany says that she doesn't purposefully try to look like the megastar. It is indeed completely coincidental, but she can rarely go anywhere without someone coming up to her and asking if it's really her. While she enjoys the attention sometimes, she sees why some celebrities avoid public places altogether. The constant interruption can make even the simplest of things tricky to do, and so far she's resisted the offers of becoming a full-time impersonator, instead choosing to keep her regular job as a planner. Number 6. Zachary Quinto and Eli Roth. Film and TV stars rely on their looks to stand out, but there are a few occasions when actors appear surprisingly similar to each other. Two stars that fans sometimes even suggest might be the same person are Zachary Quinto and Eli Roth. And even though we know they're separate people, it's virtually impossible to tell the two apart without any context. The star of Heroes and Star Trek is almost interchangeable with the director of Cabin Fever and Hostel. And while Roth has starred in several movies himself, it's perhaps no surprise that the two of them have never been cast in the same production. If there's ever a movie that requires adult twins, these two would be perfect for the role. But until then, after you've seen this, you'll be left guessing every time one of them appears on screen about which one it actually is. Number 5. Jennifer Pamplona. Brazilian model Jennifer Pamplona used to make a career working for Versace. But in recent years, her obsession with altering her appearance to look like a certain celebrity has led to her taking on roles as a lookalike. The change wasn't easy, though, and has cost her upwards of $470,000. She's undergone surgical interventions such as butt implantations, breast augmentations, facial readjustments, and the removal of some of her ribs so she can more closely resemble Kim Kardashian. Not all of them have gone well either, and recently she had to have her breast implants removed after one punctured and leaked into her body. This led to 2 years of excruciating pain in her back and has made her rethink her strategy. She now says that her long list of procedures has come to an end, partly because of this experience and also because surgeons are refusing to operate on her anymore because of the risk to her life. In 2017, when she wanted new implants in her derriere, she was rejected by 8 doctors before finally finding someone who would agree to do it. She now says that she's perfectly happy with how she looks, though, and plans to become more famous than the star that inspired her new physique. Number 4. April Gloria. There's no doubt that Taylor Swift has become one of the most successful and influential recording artists on the planet, and it's because of her that so many people are inspired to follow their dreams. For April Gloria, though, this dream is to dress up as other people, and she's doing a particularly good job of her imitation of Tay-Tay. When you see images of the 29-year-old cosplayer from Kansas, it's a struggle to tell if you're actually looking at the real Taylor Swift or not. It's made easier for Gloria because of the fact that without makeup, she looks virtually identical to the pop idol. But when she actually makes an effort, it's impossible to tell the two apart. Fans first pointed out her similarity to Swift in 2014 after she posted an image of her with a blonde wig and blunt bangs. And since then, she's developed quite a following. Surprisingly, this isn't her full-time job, however, because her true love is being a cosplayer, and she often travels to conventions around the country dressing up as her favorite game and comic characters. She's great at what she does, but her Taylor Swift is undoubtedly the best of her portfolio, and based on her Instagram feed, fans can't get enough of it. Number 3. Amethyst Rose. 20-year-old Amethyst Rose from California became an online sensation in 2017 when followers pointed out how similar she looked to Lady Gaga. At first, this was completely coincidental, but as more and more people began to follow her accounts and point out the similarities to her, she tried out specific looks by wearing Gaga-esque wigs and makeup. She now has such a following, she's sent for free everything she needs to keep up her alter ego identity. But she doesn't necessarily see the likeness herself, and didn't even think about it until someone else mentioned it to her. While she agrees that the lips and eyes look the same, she points to her nose as the main difference. Still, this doesn't stop hundreds of people posting on each of her posts, asking if she is in fact the bad romance singer, and she admits to being overwhelmed by the response. When asked about her future plans, she hasn't quite decided. She's obviously doing very well for herself with an increasingly growing follower base and appears at occasional events as the singer. But if the real Lady Gaga ever stars in a movie that requires someone to portray a younger version of herself, then Amethyst Rose would be more than happy to step in. Number 2. Pixie Fox. How far would you go to look like a famous celebrity? While some people may have a few procedures just to complete their look, Pixie Fox has gone to lengths that most wouldn't even dream of. The former electrician's idol is Jessica Rabbit, and in the past few years she's undergone more than 200 procedures, some of which are considered to be extremely risky. These have included 4 breast augmentations, brow lifts, a reduction of her cheekbones, and a full restructuring. She's also had 6 ribs removed to reduce her waist to 14 inches, liposuction, and a butt lift. Also citing inspiration from other cartoon characters like Aurora from Sleeping Beauty and Holly Wood from Cool World, her quest has taken her around the world for some operations you may not have even heard of. She went to India to get permanent eye implants that changed their color to a cartoon green. And following this, she had an eyebrow transplant using her own pubic hair. She also went to Seoul in South Korea to receive a face realignment to look like Wonder Woman. And for a week after, she wasn't able to eat or talk. In total, she's spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on achieving her look. And despite being denied a new procedure when she starred in Botched on the E! Network, she has no plans to stop. And why would she? Having suffered from self-confidence issues from a young age, she feels as if she's taking control of her life and is enjoying every moment of it. She's guest starred on a number of TV shows and has now moved to North Carolina to live with Justin Jedlicka, who is also renowned for his radical transformations through surgery. Her dream now is to launch a comic book series for children where she stars as the central crime-fighting character and is considering further work such as a V-line and bone surgery so she has a more defined superhero-like jaw. This, she says, will make her face look smaller. As a result, will make her eyes look bigger in the Disney princess way. The hope is that the books will then be turned into a movie, and Pixie will be perfectly placed to take on the lead role herself, especially considering there isn't anyone else who looks anything like her. There are, of course, concerns about the safety of undergoing this many cosmetic procedures, and this is why some surgeons are unwilling to do any more for her. No one knows what the long-term effects of this might be, but for the moment, she's the most cartoon-like person in the world. Number 1. Konrad Enerud. Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the most handsome movie stars of the past few decades, and there's a Swedish bartender called Konrad Enerud who's been blessed with similarly good looks. In 2015, his Instagram following virtually doubled overnight once the world started noticing how much he looks like the movie star, and it almost seems as if you're looking back in time at a mid-90s DiCaprio. Working in a nightclub, Enerud said in 2015 that he's often told how much of a lookalike he is, and confesses that it's worked out well for him in attracting the ladies. Whenever he goes on vacation, he's faced with the same looks and questions too, and spoke of a trip to Italy where he was mobbed by fans wherever he went who were asking for selfies. Enjoying the attention, he always obliged, and he finds it all to be incredibly funny. Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.